Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Friday Night Live. I am your host, Kat Carter, and I am just so excited that you have decided to come and hang out with little old me just for a little while tonight. We're going to have a really good time. I have some phenomenal guests. You won't believe who I have in the house. Oh my goodness. I have national recording artist, saxophonist Deon Yates is in the house. He's standing by. And then later on, I have Hilton Young, in parentheses, GF Soldier, God-fearing soldier. He's going to be coming up a little bit later on in the show. So Friday Night Live is a positive platform where we come to inform, innovate, and inspire. And that is exactly what we plan to do for you tonight. So let me tell you a little bit about Deon. So Deon began his solo career in 2009 when he competed against an upcoming, I'm sorry, am I too close? I'm sorry, my music director is getting me. Okay, let me start over. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't do the daily word. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to go to Deon. Okay, so Deon Yates began his solo career in 2009 when he competed against up-and-coming contemporary jazz artists from all over the United States at the Capital Jazz Challenge in Columbia, Maryland. Although he didn't win the competition, he was named runner-up. That gave him the drive and determination to pursue his solo career further. With the exposure garnered from the competition and being called on stage to perform with Rick Braun and Richard Elliott at the festival, Don sparked the interest of U.S. Music Enterprises, LLC. They asked Don if they could feature his song Freeway on their Jazz Infusion Section 1 compilation album. The project was released May 2010, and this marked the first time Deon's music went international. Yes. Deon spent the next couple of years performing and honing his craft. Thanks to his performances at the festival, he became a regular fixture with the house band on a cruise known as the Capital Jazz Super Cruise. With that experience and exposure, you could often find Deon on stage with artists like Nick Colio, Paul Brown, Lynn Rountree, Marion Meadows, and Mark Anton, just to name a few. His latest project, Quintastic, is a compilation of nearly 10 years of paying dues, relationship building, and persistence. Now, this word is a noun, and I just found out what it means. I learned something new. He says that it's a person who is aged 50 or more and is still attractive and successful, and especially someone famous. This title was chosen because Deon turned 50 June 2018, and this is his fifth solo project, and there are actually 5 songs on the EP. Please welcome to Friday Night Live, my good friend, Deon Yates. Yay!
Hey, what's happening? This is Saxophonist Deon Yates. Thank you, Kat. Hey, welcome to Friday Night Live. It's a blessing and an honor to be here. You know, with COVID going on, we're trying to get the music out the best way we can. So I appreciate you, Kat, for keeping this thing going for us. So like Kat said, my new EP is called Quintastic. I'm going to play a little bit of that for you right now. Woo, yes.
Oh, I love that song. What is the name of that
That
song,
was
Deon?
quintastic. Yes,
That
don't it
was
feel like a party?
fantastic.
That's a coming of age party song right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Deon, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come and hang out with me tonight. I am just so
Oh,
excited
my
that you are
pleasure. My
here.
pleasure.
Okay, so let's get right into the questions because I know you got some big things coming on tomorrow, and I want to go ahead and get you finished so you can get on up
Oh
out
yeah.
of here. So, what and who inspired you to start playing the saxophone?
Hmm. Well, I had a teacher in the seventh grade. His name was Hosea Taylor, and he just passed away a few years back. But he's the person that put a sax in my hand.
Okay.
And every instrument that I play, everything that I do musically, he's the source. He's the beginning of it. And if it wasn't for him, there's no telling where I would have been, because he gave me that opportunity to do something. A young black kid from the east side of Detroit. There's a lot of different ways that I could have gone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But had it not been for him, there's a story that I like to tell everybody when, I've been in band since elementary school, but I was playing flute when I first started in
Mm-hmm.
elementary in the third grade. And our schools, back then, schools were like a neighborhood community thing. Usually,
Mm-hmm.
most of the teachers that worked at the school lived in the neighborhood. So I had a lot of close knit family ties to the school. So the
Mm-hmm.
original band director in my junior high school, his name was Donald Washington, which he opened up a whole new world of jazz to me, and he created
Mm-hmm.
a group called Bird Train Skull Now. So he's the first person that put me into the jazz and the avant-garde and bebop and all of that stuff. But he ended up leaving the school, and we got
Oh,
a new
wow.
band teacher. And so you know how kids are, we don't know anything about the adult world. So
Right,
it
right.
was like the only reason why our old band teacher from our neighborhood that we loved is not here is because this guy is here. And I
Oh,
couldn't
wow.
stand Mr. Taylor. I couldn't stand him. I hated him so much when he first got there because he was just new and we didn't know him.
Mm-hmm.
And I acted up so bad in band class one day that he physically picked me up and threw me out the classroom. See, back then you could touch kids,
Yeah,
you
you
could
can get
whoop
that.
kids with
Yeah.
paddles, you
Mm-hmm.
could actually
Mm-hmm.
discipline kids in school. But anyway, he picked me up and threw me out the class, right? Well, the bad thing about that is that I lived like one block from the school. I have older siblings that's like 10 and 15 and 20 years older than I am. So one of my older sisters was the head secretary in the office.
Mm-hmm.
I had a second cousin that was the home economics teacher. So, my parents knew all about what happened before I got home. So
Mm-hmm.
by the time I got home from school that day, it's only a block away now. By the time I
Mm-hmm.
got home from school, Mr. Taylor, the band teacher, was at my house talking
Oh,
to my parents.
it's by the
And he
grace of
told
God
my
you
parents,
are
I
here
had
now.
planned on quitting. I went to my counselor and everything. I'm not doing band. I quit. I hate him. But he talked to my parents and he told my parents that he saw something special in me and that they need to keep me in that music program. And so I stayed in the music program and he took me under his wing. And here I am today. So that's the
Wow.
short version. I don't want to get emotional because I always cry when I talk about Mr. Taylor. So
Oh, wow. What a thank you for sharing that story. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, so how would you describe the music that you typically create?
um I like to call it touch your soul music.
Yes, sir.
And the reason why I do
Good.
that, it's not, I don't think I gave it that title. That title kind of came to me about it because I've had experiences where, I try every time I perform a show, no matter what's going on in my life off of the stage, I try not to bring that onto the stage with me because
Mhm.
you never know who you might touch or uplift with
Exactly.
your music. And I
Exactly.
remember I was doing a jazz series at a church several years ago, and it was a bad day for me. Nothing was going right and anything like that, and I was feeling kind of bummed out. But I didn't let that really come into my performance. So I went in and we did the show and fellowshipped, and then this one guy at the end of the show came up to me and with tears in his eyes, and he was telling me, how he was in a really bad place, and he heard that they were having a free jazz concert at the church, and he heard my music, and it changed his life. It touched him, and it changed his mind. He didn't tell me what it changed, but I thought it would probably was something bad, or he might want to hurt himself or something. I don't know. But
Mm-hmm.
that's why I like to tell my fellow musicians, whether you're having a bad day or not, you don't know
You don't
who
know.
you're touching.
You don't know
Music
who is amiss.
is
Yeah.
God. He created that gift in us for us to heal and help people.
Yes.
You
Yes.
never know who you're touching, who you're healing, or who you're helping. So
Mm-hmm.
always, if you're having drama in your life, please leave that off the stage, out of the performance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, I definitely agree. And it's those words of encouragement that actually helps us keep going a little bit, longer, or keep pushing, even though, like you say, sometimes as musicians and being in the music industry, we do have hard days and bad days sometimes, but it's really good to hear that our music is really touching some of our listeners. So that's awesome. I get it. Yeah. All right. So who would you most like to collaborate with that you haven't with already?
Ooh. Hmm. Let's see. Who would I like to collaborate with?
My daughter say, "Speak it into existence" on
I
the
know
Friday
I'm
Night
trying
Live.
to make it good, so hopefully they're listening. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I just can't name just one or two, but it's really hard to narrow that down. There's so many people I want to play with. I want to do a all sax thing. There's a lot of sax groups out there, but I want to do, like, there was the gospel, not gospel, but like popular music and opera singers, the three tenors. So I
Mhm.
want to get three tenor saxophones to be like the three mo tenors. So we can have the three jazz. So I mean, me and Richard Elliott and Kirk Whalum.
Yeah.
I would just, that would be it. I wouldn't have to do nothing else if I can do a compilation, just a collab with me, Richard Elliott, and Kirk Whalum, and
Ooh.
then just to throw some sprinkling on it,
Mhm.
put Uncle Gerald Albright on the top.
Oh,
That's it. Then
that's
I'm
it.
done.
It'll be a done deal.
That's all I need.
I know. Okay. Um, how do you feel the internet has impacted the music business?
Hmm. Well, I mean, the internet completely, and just like in other industries, the internet is a game changer. I mean, it is a game changer. I mean, not just for contemporary jazz or smooth jazz or anything like that, but music as a whole.
Mhm.
One of the things that we've learned about the internet and just self promoting, the internet allows artists that you would never hear of
Yeah.
from all over the world
Yeah.
to put their music out there and be heard, and you can be commercial with it. So it's not that you can just play music just for the sake of playing it, but you can monetize it. I mean, you can there's true diehard fans out there that like good music. So if you put good music out, you're going to attract people. And
Mhm.
as far as the marketing thing, I mean, before Prince passed away, when his Warner Brothers contract expired. So a lot
Mhm.
of people don't know that the reason why Prince wasn't crazy. The reason why Prince changed his name to the symbol and all of that stuff, and he went by the artist formerly known as Prince.
Mhm.
Prince had a long-term contract with Warner Brothers Records. When he first signed his contract at 18, they gave him creative control over all of his music. But later on in years, once he got his Paisley Park brand going and stuff, he was still under contract with Warner Brothers and
Mhm.
was required by the label to produce so many records within a certain amount of time. But what happened later on in life, because just like a lot of different things, the corporation got in the way, and the corporation wanted to take control over Prince's stuff. Well, in Prince's genius, Prince's contract was in the name of Prince Rogers Nelson. So
Mhm. I
Warner
get it.
Brothers had a contract with Prince Rogers Nelson. So
Mhm.
he changed his name until the contract expired. And if you notice, he started using Prince again. But he did that. And then once he started doing music, he didn't release another record through the machine of regular record releases. He did internet. And Prince is such, I mean, if you go to a stadium that seats 50,000 people,
Mhm.
Prince would do a concert. All he would have to do is adjust his ticket prices by less than $1. And everybody that buys a ticket to his concert gets a CD with the cost of admission. Well, if the auditorium holds 50,000 people, that's 50,000 CD sales right there on the books.
Wow.
And that's what the internet, because he didn't promote it. He did pop-up concerts. You wouldn't know when he was coming or where he was going. And the internet, Prince
Wow.
would be so-and-so, so-and-so. So that shows you the power that this medium has. And so even some of the bigger name jazz artists, contemporary, I talked about Uncle Gerald Albright,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these cats for a long time have been on record labels. But the days of the record labels are kind of dwindling. If you're
Yeah.
doing R&B and rap and pop and stuff, maybe still, but even the bigger name jazz artists, a lot of these guys, after their contracts are expiring, they're starting their own labels
Yeah.
because no longer do they need that same record label machine to get their music published. They can self-publish, they can create their own labels, they can keep other hands out their pockets, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak,
Which is
and
good.
then just
Mm-hmm.
recycle and keep all the income coming to them. So
Wow.
that's what the internet did for us as musicians, and it gave us a wide reach all over the world.
I never knew why he changed his name to the symbol, and now I know. See, I learned something. I learned something every week on Friday Night Live, believe it or not. I really do. Okay. Tell me about your saxophone. What type of saxophone do you play?
Well, I'm playing my alto today because that's my title track. Quintastic is on that. I play alto, soprano, tenor, baritone. I play other woodwinds too, but this sax particularly, I'm endorsed by Sax Dakota
Mm-hmm.
brand saxophones, which a good friend of mine, Pete LaPlaca, for those sax players out there that don't know about Sax Dakota, if you remember the LA sax, that was the first saxophone that came in like custom colors. Bill Clinton's saxophone, the
Mm-hmm.
star stripes, red, white, and blue, that was a LA
Mm-hmm.
sax. Pete LaPlaca
Okay.
gave that to Bill Clinton. Well, Pete LaPlaca invented LA sax, and
Okay.
he thought he was going to retire, so he actually retired and sold the company to someone else. But he couldn't stay away from making great instruments, so he came back and started a new line called Sax Dakota.
Sax
And so
Dakota.
I've been playing Sax Dakotas now, pretty much for like the last 10 years. You
Wow.
know, Pete gave me a anniversary, well, not an anniversary, but he gave me a wedding present, my very first Sax Dakota saxophone when I got married to my lovely wife Tamara. She's better be watching.
Hey,
So
Tamara.
my first Sax Dakota sax, it was a tenor, and I was on my way right after the wedding for our honeymoon,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a surprise package showed up at my door 2 days before we
Wow.
were to leave. So I took it to Jamaica with me.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So, Dion, I'm gonna put this up right quick and then I'm gonna let you tell us what's going on tomorrow. So you guys see this, Dion is gonna be in Charleston, North Carolina. Oh my goodness,
Charlotte.
for a CD release party. So tell us what's going on. Tell us about that.
So I'll be in Charlotte.
Oh, what I
See,
say?
all those because there's Charleston, but I'll be in Charlotte, North
Charlotte.
Carolina. That's all right. It's down there somewhere. Midwest people. Yeah, but yeah. So I had a great lineup for my spring tour schedule because I had a new CD
Mm-hmm.
to release out the beginning of the year. I was supposed to start hitting the road the first weekend in April,
Mm-hmm.
and COVID kind of wiped out my whole tour schedule. So most of my dates got pushed back to 2021,
Mm-hmm.
but this is a newer venue down there in Charleston, and they are still doing things. They're on 50% capacity because of COVID, but
Okay.
it's a relatively large place, so they can meet safely and have social distancing and everything
Mm-hmm.
because it's such a large facility. But they wanted to keep the music going because it's a new venue. They didn't want to just open up and then just shut down because we know if you open up a business and you're a fledgling, sometimes if you just completely shut down and stop doing stuff, then your business is gone. So they're trying to keep it alive. If you go to Middle C Jazz on Facebook, go to their website, they're actually going to be streaming. So if people aren't comfortable with coming to an actual venue for a show, they can stream it. I think there's
Okay.
a modest donation fee for streaming, but
Mm-hmm.
you can do it that way as well. There's going to be two shows. There's a show at 7 p.m. and then a show at 9:15. So hopefully I'll see some of my frat brothers. I'm calling them out right now to my Sigmas down there in North Carolina. Look,
Uh-oh.
get your bruh. You see what I'm saying? You don't see these letters. So I
Yes. I
singles
see.
in the house. Blue fire.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that, on your CD release party. I know it's going to be really, really nice. I wouldn't mind being there. I'm going to see if I can stream and maybe in on a little bit on you. But congratulations to you on that. That's awesome. Um, okay. So, what advice would you give an aspiring young saxophonist?
An inspiring young saxophonist. Practice, 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 and practice some more. Don't stop. Don't stop. Michael Jackson said, "Don't stop till you get enough. Never get enough." Uh, I have to practice. My wife will be getting on me because she said, "You ain't even. I ain't heard you practice in a while." So she got to make me practice. Even at this age, has been playing. I've been playing since I was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to get the rust off every now and then. COVID kind of made me a little lazy. You think I'll practice more during COVID, but I
Mm-hmm.
have to do so many other things to stay afloat that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I don't get a chance to practice like I should. But
Okay.
practice, especially when you're starting out, because sometimes we don't have patience and we want to be able to play it perfectly as soon as we start.
Mm-hmm.
There's a young guy when I was in junior high school that he was a saxophone player that I kind of idolized. He's just a kid. I mean, he's
Mm-hmm.
2 years older than I am.
Okay.
But this kid was so smart in his wisdom. We used to have band rehearsal in the summertime, from school. We would have a summertime rehearsal sometimes at one of our homes or something. So
Mm-hmm.
we would have band rehearsal at our house for the jazz band. And I swear to you, this kid, he had to be probably like 13 or 14 years old at the time. And I'm like 12.
Mm-hmm.
So we was like, man, his name is Cassius Richmond. I never forget this. I was like, man, how can we play like you? Because he was the bomb at
At
13,
that
14,
age,
had
wow.
perfect pitch. He could hear any song and write the music out. And so he's like, Cassius, how can we play like you?
Mm-hmm.
Me and another good friend of mine, Rodney Whitaker, he's a bassist, internationally renowned. He's the professor of jazz studies at Michigan State now. But
Mm-hmm.
me and him were asking Cassius these questions. And Cassius told us, he's like, if you want to learn how to play like me, you need to practice 4 hours a day. And he took us in the back of the alley behind my house and pulled up some weeds and some roots. He said, practice 4 hours a day and chew on this root right here. He said, this here is a gobble root and it's going to make you play like me. Now, we kids, we thinking the mystical stuff going on. So we going to chew this root. We're gonna be able to play as good as Cassius. But what we didn't realize was the practice 4 hours a day part. So at 14, he used psychology on us. He got us to practice 4 hours every single day, and we
Wow.
got better. So it wasn't the root that was making us good;
Right,
it was
right.
the practice.
Yeah.
But you saw us; we got kicked out of class because we in class with a pocket full of roots, and we chewing on the roots in the classroom, and we want to play like Cassius.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, we were some strange kids.
Oh my goodness, that was funny. That was a really funny story, but I know it's true. Oh, but look at you now. Look at you now. Ain't nothing funny about it now, though.
I
Woo-wee.
still think about going to get some of them roots, man. Give you a little booster shot or something.
Oh my goodness. Well, Deon, I'm just really excited that you are here. Finally, I want you to give you an opportunity to give some final shout outs before you do your final selection.
Oh man, shout outs. Well, I got some easy shout outs because Quintastic is a combination of a lot of years of work and hard work and relationship building.
Mhm.
So first shout out I got to give to my wife Tammy. That's
That's
two for
right.
you, babe. So hey, she's my boss.
That's right.
She got the first shout out. But on Quintastic, I worked with such great people, super producer and saxophonist, and just a world-class great guy, Darren Ron.
Hmm.
He actually wrote and produced Quintastic
Hmm.
for me.
Okay.
And I wanted everything to be organic as possible. So I flew to his house, to his studio in Denver to record my parts at his place so he could
Hmm.
produce me on it. So
Hmm.
big shout outs to my brother Darren Ron. Also, Chris Big Dog Davis. He wrote and produced the track No Other Love that's on the EP. And Chris Big Dog Davis just released his first solo project. But if you don't know who he is, you know, but you don't know, because
Mm-hmm.
he's been Gerald Albright's musical director for
Oh.
several years. He writes and produces for Mesa. He writes and produces for a good friend of mine, flutist Althea Renee. So
Oh my
he's been a
goodness.
fixture in the smooth jazz world. Big Dog, another shout out to him. Also, this is, if you notice about Quintastic, I reached out to all the people that I've had relationships over the years. So
Mm-hmm.
my Coon, he's like my, and he's probably gonna beat me up when he see me. My nerdy little brother, Jakeem Joyner. He is like the coolest dude, but he's like a serious, like sci-fi, nerdy, geeky kid. But
Mm-hmm.
he's a great guy, great saxophone player. He did 2 tracks for me on the EP. So he did the last track. Well, the current single that's out now is called "When We Meet Again."
Mm-hmm.
It's produced by Jakeem, and it's just a great tune. And I usually like close my shows out with that track. So
Okay.
all of those guys, they did it for me. And then I got to give shouts to my Detroit brothers, my Detroit saxophone brother Randy Scott, who just hit #1 on Billboard a few weeks ago. My
Congratulations.
Detroit trumpet brother Lynn Roundtree, who I play with all the time, just hit #1 on Billboard a couple of more weeks ago.
Congratulations.
Good
Wow.
friend in Fayetteville, North Carolina, Willie Bradley, who hit #1
Oh
a
my
week before
gosh.
that, but was produced by my former drummer from Detroit, Mr. Jeff
Wow.
Kennedy.
Wow.
So Detroit is all in the house. And so there's so many more people that I want to give shout out to. My big sister, I know she ain't watching, but I'm going to say her name, Miss Tempest Ford, my big sister, Paula Davy. So y'all can't say I didn't say nothing to y'all. My brother, Jay Parker, my brother, Martin. So now, even if y'all not watching, y'all can play it back and I said your name. But anybody that I forgot, or if I didn't say your name, Betty, Cheryl, all you guys, hey, charge it to my head, not my heart. All right.
All right. Okay. So what is your final selection going to be?
Let me see. I was over here while we was warming up, having some technical difficulties. Let me see if I can pull it out.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to do When We Meet Again. So When We Meet Again, this track, like I said, this is produced by Jakeem Joyner. And this track is dedicated to all those people, all the people that we lost to COVID-19.
Oh, wow.
Our frontline workers. I mean, it's a very feeling and spiritual track, because if you believe, then these people aren't gone and we will meet again. So for all the people that's been putting their life on the line for us, and for all the people that we lost, this is When We Meet Again from my EP, Quintastic.
Ladies and gentlemen, Deon Yates.
All right. When we meet again. So, hey,
Uh-oh.
this is
Okay, there I
Deon
am.
Yates, and
That
you're
was
listening
beautiful.
to and watching Friday Night Live with Kat Carter. All right.
Yes,
I
sir.
forgot.
Thank you, Tia. Thank you. I thought you forgot. Thank you so much. Hey, congratulations again on your CD release tomorrow. Best wishes on your future endeavors. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight and sharing your beautiful your gift. I don't want to say calendar is a gift. It's a beautiful gift. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And we have got to do this again,
Oh,
Deon.
most definitely. Most definitely. Can't
All
wait.
right.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you so much. And I know everybody that you have on your show, we love you and we just keep on doing what
Oh,
you're
we
doing.
love you too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Deon. All right. Blessings to you. Take care.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye. Did you all enjoy that? Oh my goodness. That was national recording artist Deon Yates. Yes. Oh my goodness, I have my other guest standing by, Mr. Hilton Young Sr., and he is GF Soldier, meaning God fearing soldier. He is standing by. He's coming up in just a second. All right, let's get our trivia in because we have something to give away when we talk to Hilton. So let's get our trivia going. All right, since Thanksgiving is coming up, in what year did the first U.S. Thanksgiving? I gave the answer. Lord Jesus. Wait, never mind. We just messed it all up. We got to figure something else. I didn't gave the answer. Sure, I didn't gave the answer. Let me just go ahead and talk about Hilton. Let me just do that. Why don't I just do that? I just did mess it up. I have some really great artists on here today, and I'm just so excited. Okay, so let me tell you about Hilton Young. Hilton Young was born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana, but now resides in Dallas, Texas because of the Hurricane Katrina. He is international poet, author, writer, mentor, teacher, therapist, motivational speaker, and spoken word artist. He has won a plethora of slam poetry competitions, and he has shared the stage with many HBO deaf poets. Oh my goodness. He has competed as a member of the New Orleans Slam Team in 2005, Fort Worth Slam Team 2012, and he graced the stage twice with the P4CM's Rhetoric in Los Angeles, California. He has spoken all around the nation and made his international debut in Trinidad and Tobago in 2012, Ghana, West Africa 2015, and Toronto, California 2016 and 2017. He has also shared the stage with some renowned artists such as such as Tasha Cobb Leonard, Ty Tribbett, Vashawn Mitchell, and also, do you all remember from The Cosby Show, Malcolm Jamal Warner? Also him. Oh my gosh. Also, actor poet Irma Hall and Erica Badu, or Queen Erica Badu. His delivery is one that permeates the inward parts of the belly and permeates the very depth of the human psyche while captivating a crowd with both emotion and intellect. His mission is to spread the gospel, both foreign and domestic, through the power of spoken word poetry. His mission is also ultimately to win souls for Christ. Yes, sir. He also has a bachelor's of science degree in psychology, a master's in clinical mental health counseling, and is currently pursuing his doctorate in advanced studies in human behavior. He is also a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Please welcome to Friday Night Live, my good friend, GF Soldier. Hey there.
Hey, how you doing?
All right. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm all right. How about yourself?
Doing well. I am just so excited to have you in the house, Hilton. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving of your time to hang out with us on Friday Night Live.
Oh man, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So I know you're going to start us off with something kind of surprising. So you want to go ahead and do it? I didn't tell them what you were going to do. You want to go
Sure,
ahead and do it? Okay.
sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hilton Young, GF Soldier.
He influences me. With the eminence of his preeminence, he influences me as I'm only an instrument. However, as his conduit, his sentiments are only to impart and implement infinite wisdom in small increments. So you have to embrace his temperament, his aura, his demeanor, his personality. As he carefully and purposefully craft and orchestrate these words to accommodate him. This is not a coincidence, but it's reality. So in my harmless attest, I metaphorically sit before you, clothed in the garments of death, here to put the torments to rest. I'm only an instrument, nothing more, nothing less, subject to repentance, because being a follower of Christ in and of itself is only a daily death sentence. And since I've understood that dying is the prerequisite, I have fallen from the precipice into the petrous pits of death's abyss. So in the midst of my professed amiss, and the fact that God is willing to use this lusting pessimist to deliver this spiritual spoken word rhetoric, I die so that he could make up the deficit. So then the purpose of my digressive bliss is to be filled with his celeste spirit. So in the context in which I spit, I speak posthumously. Or rhetorically, God is in control. Do not document me, but document he. And if I can just touch one person, I guarantee he's more concerned about the one than the capacity of any building's occupancy. He's not concerned about your wealth, your riches, your popularity, nor your affluent opulency. So I will spit truth with the wisdom of the serpent. But since you are his doves, I will speak innocuously. What if I got you to see through the lens or the binoculars of me of how God operatively uses the foolish things of this world to confound one's competency? Spiritually naked before you, I can assure you he does not have a costume for me. Could it possibly be that he constructively puts me in a direct position for him to speak the gospel through me? I'm only an instrument, spitting words that are actually factual, but not necessarily apropos to the status quo, leaving your feet and wanting to come back for more. So sit back, relax, and listen to this black pope flow words that were considered to be appropriate and deemed to be necessary, armed with the sword of the spirit, fully equipped with an extensive vocabulary, intellectually and etymologically unpacking words that would make you go running for the dictionary. Imagine words so powerful the demons palpitantly tremble to the point when it makes the adversary scary. However, on the contrary, these words are designed for your edification, even though some of them may ultimately vary, specifically prepped and catered to be spoken in the venues, the clubs, the pulpits, the street corners, the prisons, and even in the sanctuary. In his presence, I exhortatively impregnate your souls with fruitful homily that harvests and cultivates prolific fecundity, meticulously anointed your minds with the oil of oratory, using the astuteness of wisdom, great depth and profundity. Now you're wondering, how does this come to be that he publicly displays this instrument of congenial expression literally for everyone to see? So I must allow you all to be the beneficiaries of what God speaks through me based on your own recipients. But in order for you to partake in this exemplary abstraction, you must be a willing participant so that I can carefully and harmlessly divide the word of truth, custom made to accommodate your unlimited percipients, having enough competency to speak life into your spirits based on my own personal experience. As I speak, he continually breathes the breath of life through my nostrils, which allows me to proficiently exhaust the interdictions of the Torah and the good news of the glorious gospel, expounding on the epistemological aspects of the Pentateuch, like Jesus the Christ and also the apostles. And although this may be most effective to a body of believers who are receptively docile, this word still has to go forth, regardless of the fact that the crowd may get uncontrollably hostile.
I was like, is that it? Oh my God.
Well, I didn't want to take up too much time, but it's about 8.5 minutes long, so I didn't want to take up too. Yeah.
Oh, you're fine. Oh, we were like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What was the title of that spoken word,
Poetic
Hilton?
oratory.
Yes. Wow. I agree. Wow. This is awesome. All right. Okay. So let's talk about poetry a little bit. Who or what inspired you to write poetry?
Well, actually, my grandmother, her passing in 1999 is what started me out because I was dealing with depression at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a thing in mental health called catharsis, which is an emotional discharge or an emotional cleansing of your soul. So when I began to write, writing became cathartic for me, and for me to talk about my feelings and things of that magnitude. That's what led to poetry, because I journaled my thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and the thoughts that I journaled began to become poems.
Mm-hmm.
And so my grandmother was my first inspiration. She raised me when my mom passed away when I was 6. And so when she passed away, that was a very dark moment in my life, because that was the mom that I always knew and the one who raised me. So to deal with my depression, I used writing and I used poetry to write myself out of my depression.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What advice or encouragement would you give an aspiring young poet?
I was listening to that last interview. You can't stress practice enough. Practice, practice, practice. That word practice means to do things habitually and repetitively for the purpose of acquiring skill and proficiency. There's a scripture in 1 Timothy chapter 4, verses 12 through 15. But verse 15 says, in the Amplified, it says, practice and cultivate and meditate. Give all of yourselves to your gift, so that your progress or profit will be made evident to everybody. Verse 16 says, be well to yourself, take heed unto the doctrine, persevere in these duties, for by doing this you shall save both yourselves and those who hear you. That word saved in the Greek translation means to heal. So then your gift should serve as some type of therapeutic function or healing mechanism in your life. And if that gift does not serve that purpose, then it's probably not your gift. So practice in cultivating, which means educate yourself about the gift that you're getting in. That's what cultivation means. And then meditate, think deeply on your gift, and then throw all of yourself into it. And so practice is a big, big thing, because it makes you more prepared. When you go on stage, when you go on performance, or when you do interviews like this, it makes you more prepared. You have to study your gift, practice and study, so that it can become a skill, because you have the talent to do it, but it doesn't become a skill until you practice, until you put in hours and hours and hours of beating up on your craft. That's what separates the talented from the skilled. So,
well, that's good. Oh, it kind of hit me in the face a little bit. That was good. My daughter said, "You." Okay, I want to show everybody something. Hilton has a book out. I put it right here. Trifling to Transformed. Ooh, Jesus. And I actually have a copy that I'm going to give away to somebody. So let's talk about this book a little bit. Is that okay, Hilton?
absolutely.
Okay. So is this your first book?
It's my first book. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So when did you realize you wanted to be a writer? When did you realize that you had the gift of writing?
Well, I had it. I mean, I had that gift when I was younger. I just never. Well, I guess about 6th grade, I was in a poetry contest and I won the contest. But I didn't think nothing of it, so I didn't start writing again until I was 25, and that's when my grandmother passed away. And so, I mean, that's when I discovered that the gift was still there, even though I was 12 or 13 at the time. And then years later, I picked it up, the pen, and started doing it again. So writing is a good way to express my feelings and express my thoughts. Writing gives you an escape when you feel like you're alone and you can't verbalize your feelings to other people. The pen and the pad is always the safe haven to provide some type of release, because it's very unhealthy and very toxic to hold those negative emotions in without having the capacity or the freedom or the safe haven to express them. So.
I got a chance to look at the book, and there's some really interesting. I think this is a really, really good book. I haven't had a chance to read the whole book. I've had a chance to kind of skim over because I just got it.
Right.
But I saw a chapter. It says discussion versus conversation, and it breaks it down. And then lying to yourself, lying versus deception. These are some really, really making a change versus making alterations. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Well, you can tell the truth and still be deceptive.
Oh my God.
When you look at it, because whenever you tell the truth with wrong intentions, it's worse than any lie that one can create, because you're using truth to punish, you're using truth to hurt, you're using truth to to ostracize and criticize people, or to get people in trouble, which is what the serpent did to Eve in Genesis chapter 3. You know, he told the truth. He said, you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Your eyes will be open. So he was telling the truth, but he was using that truth to be deceptive. So you have to be careful that even though you're telling the truth, because people let themselves off the hook because they're telling the truth. But if your mind is jacked up, and and there's deception behind your truth, is worse than any lie that one could create, because you have developed a trust for that person who's deceiving you with the truth. So you have to be careful. And so, making changes versus making alterations, I say this. I mean, you can bring your suit to the cleaners to be altered, but you're still going to have the same suit once you go pick it up. But when you make a change, when you make a transformation, then it's no longer about the suit. Maybe the suit maybe you have outgrown the suit, and you may need to get a different suit. So as far as maturity is concerned, maybe you have outgrown where you are right now. So instead of making the alterations, make the necessary change, and the alterations will follow. So there's a slight difference between making alterations and making change, because you could just add on to who you already are, or if who you are is not a part of your growth, then there has to be a change and not just an alteration.
Oh my goodness. I was able to follow you really, really well, especially when you were talking about deceiving people. It's almost like your motive. Check your motive, like before you open up.
Yes.
Like, it's your motive. Why are you doing?
It's your motive.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. There's just so many. Oh my gosh, prostituting a gift. There's just so much in here. Christian integrity. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, Christian integrity, and I sent you that poem as well. Christian integrity, it's about being authentic instead of being sincere. Like, a lot of the times we put on our masks and we have good intentions, and we mean well when we try to get into this walk of being a Christian, but we're not necessarily authentic, because there's a darker side to everybody. And so the whole purpose of Christian integrity is to be authentic, be real. You don't walk like that every day. You're not blessed and highly favored every day. You could be celibate, but not be celibate in your thoughts. You can be abstaining and not abstaining in your thoughts. And so be holistic, be who you are. We all have an opposite. We all are not perfect. So there's an opposite.
Right.
There's good and evil. We bit off the tree of good and evil, not just good. You know what I'm saying? And so we have that knowledge of good and evil, but a lot of the times we want to hide and mask that part of us that we are ashamed and we are embarrassed by and we are guilt driven by. But embracing that side of us that's never going to go away anyway is embracing the whole you. And that's how God looks at us. He embraces the whole us, not just the part of us that we want everybody to think we are. So integrity is doing things without people looking, and being who you are without people looking. But integrity also is having the ability to admit that you do have a darker side. So trifling to transform is me admitting that, yes, I'm a man of God, but I'm trifling too. I have a trifling side to me. And how you monitor that darker side of you is going to determine the character and the integrity of who you are. If you don't monitor that side of you, then your acts will start being out of control, and then people will see you just one way. Like, well, I thought he was this, I thought he was that. So you have to monitor both the good part of you and the not so good part of you, and integrity leads you to do that.
I have a question, Hilton.
Sure.
Critical asked, where can we buy the books? I did say Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Am I correct? Is there any place else that can get it?
Well, if you Google Trifling to Transform, there'll be other digital entities that you can also purchase it from. You can also purchase it. I mean, it's on Amazon Kindle and Barnes & Noble's Nook if you want to download it to your phone. So it's all over. So wherever they want to go and purchase it, yes.
Okay. This is good. So let's talk about this title. Trifling to Transformed. How did you come up with this title? Tell me about
the inspiration behind it is my children. My son was born February 15th, 2005. My daughter was born March 17th, 2005. So they're a month apart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it came out of, because I was promiscuous. I was sexually promiscuous, and my two children are what started the transformation.
Mm-hmm.
I was trifling at the time, and I was irresponsible. I lacked accountability, and it showed um, in the birth of my two children. Now, of course, they're a blessing. They both are 15 now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, but I had to learn some very harsh lessons at that time about my irresponsible behavior. Painful, but it was a blessing to also have those harsh lessons, because it made me more accepting of who I am holistically. And once you are accepting who you are holistically, you can monitor those things very well. Not only was I trifling, I was a liar, I was a cheater, I was all these things, because when you're being deceptive in that kind of way, all of your wrongs are going to come out, because if you're doing some bad stuff, at some point you got to lie about it.
Mm-hmm.
And lying and cheating, it all goes in there with it. And like I said, I was good at telling the truth and being deceptive about it. And so I had that serpentine malignance, if you will. It was bad. And so that was kind of a rock bottom place for me.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few years of depression going into that, because I was so ashamed of myself at that time. And a lot of people were disappointed in me at that time as well. So what, I can't run from my issues forever. So
Right.
I faced them head on, and eventually I started writing poems that centered around my weaknesses, and then eventually I wrote the book. So that's how that came about.
That's what I feel like. Our experience is what helps make our anointing stronger. Because how can you talk about something that you have not been through? How can
Absolutely.
you tell somebody something or encourage them or tell them what to
Mhm.
do and you haven't even been through it? How can you do that? But
Absolutely.
when you've been through it and you know what it feels like to be through, you know what it's like you said, to be going through depression. You know what it's like to make a mistake that that you really feel bad about. And you're able to minister to someone. I mean, I think that's what makes the difference. I believe that's what breaks the yoke when you're honest. My
Mhm.
sister used to, like, sometimes we'll have our conversations and she'll be like, nobody wants to be on Front Street. Nobody wants to just tell the truth. They want to say, well, I got a new car or I got a new house, but we don't want to get down and dirty with the other stuff
Yeah.
that we done been through.
Yeah.
And so I get it. And all of us have made mistakes. I've made some major mistakes too, but it's like you said, it's molded me. I've learned from them, and
Mhm.
it's molded me to the person that I am now.
Mhm.
So, and I believe that, what we carry, people need that.
Right.
By you sharing and being transparent with us on this, I have no idea who needed to hear that tonight.
Mhm.
So I believe that thank you. First off, thank you so far. First off, yeah, Charlene, yes. Thank you so much for your transparency.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for just being real and honest, because that's what we need now. These young folks, the teenagers and the one that's coming up, but they need somebody that's going to tell them the truth.
Yes.
I mean, everybody's just hiding everything. Like we just came and we've arrived. But I mean, I'm a Christian too, but I've made a whole lot of mistakes, a whole lot of mistakes. So thank you so much. Thank you for being a blessing and speaking with us today on that.
Absolutely.
Whew, this is good. Hilton, you gonna come back in a couple of months? We have to have you come back every 6 months.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Um, okay, so what was I gonna ask you? If somebody wanted to be a writer, can you encourage them? Like, if they're wanting to maybe tell their story, or how can you give them some encouragement, or how they can or give them some tips on how they could get started? Or
Yeah, just start a daily journal. Start a daily journal. Start journaling your thoughts. Start journaling your emotions. Uh, because with writing, it helps you to put a better label on your thoughts, a better label on your emotions. It gives you a better opportunity to be able to explain yourself in those rough times when you're broken and when you're hurt.
Mhm.
And a lot of times you can't describe those type of feelings, so we keep it, boggled in. And so, yeah, just keeping a daily journal, or just open up a laptop, start a Word document, and just start writing.
Okay.
It's a way of escape. The writing part of it has to serve as some type of therapeutic function for you.
Okay.
It has to be cathartic. When your writing can start ministering to you, then you're gonna want to do it even more. Like my writing ministers to me. It gives me the freedom to express my thoughts, even thoughts that I don't share with anybody else. So the
Mhm.
transparency came through that trials and tribulations, that brokenness, that excruciating pain. But it's a necessary pain for everybody to reach a level of prosperity in your life from every perspective, holistically, not just from a financial perspective, but from an internal, psychological, spiritual, and emotional perspective as well. And so just get a notebook and start writing, or send a daily email to yourself is because when I journal now, I just send a daily email to myself about my
Okay.
day. And so it's just as simple as picking up a notepad and a pen and start writing. That's pretty
Okay.
much it.
Do you ever go back? Like some of my journals, I'll go back, like a journal that I wrote a year ago. I'll go back and just see where I was, and I read like where I was, and it's just wow. You
Yes, and
ever
then I'm
get-
able to expound upon it as well. Like when I go back and read some stuff and some quotes that I've put in my journaling, I'm able to expound on it more and able to add to it as I mature and as I gain more wisdom. I'm able to record the things that I have learned,
Mhm.
become more knowledgeable of how to express that transparency of those not so good things that we uh, have to monitor as far as our behavior is concerned. And so having a more intelligent and intellectual way to describe that darker side of you,
Mhm.
it intrigues other people to want to listen to you, because we all have a darker side.
Mhm.
And in order for us to visit that darker side, you have to be willing to experience some type of discomfort in order to really explore and be acceptable of that darker side, because it's not going nowhere. As long as we live in as human beings, that darker side is not going to go anywhere. And for me, I'm a very insecure person. I still lie in my head, and sometimes I have to write those lies out and say, why did you tell that? Does it make you feel more comfortable to lie, or does it provide some type of escape? Like, you have to confront those parts of you in order to admit, just like the alcoholic who's 23 years sober. When he
Mhm.
go to a meeting, he doesn't say, I used to be alcoholic. He say, my name is so and so, and I am an alcoholic, but I'm 23 years sober. Well, I'm still all of those things that I wrote about. I'm still trifling. I still love women. I still this, that, and the other. But my sobriety has been for a long time. But it doesn't mean that I don't have these urges. And we still have these urges. When God delivers you from it, he gives you the coping skills to be able to monitor
Right.
what he has
Mhm.
delivered you from. He doesn't
Mhm.
take it away from you. So a lot of
Mhm.
people think that God just takes it away from you. No, he gives you the skill and the coping mechanisms to be able to deal with it. And of course, faith without action or works is dead. So you have to do your part as well.
Right. Right.
And so I am constantly delving into the weaker, darker side of myself to have a better understanding of why I'm like this. So I'm a very insecure guy. I'm a very emotional guy. Uh, and I would make the argument that we as men are more emotional than women, quiet as it's kept, because we're more guarded than women. So and a lot of brothers, they give me flack about it. I don't care, because the fact that you're giving me flack about it already
Must
says
be
that you're
true.
insecure,
Mhm.
because you're giving me flack about it. So the insecurities are already breeding, volumes of what you're saying, because you're trying to defend that. And I think that's the reason why a lot more men are in jail than women are, because somebody along the way hurt their feelings. But we use anger, and that was one of my issues as well. Anger was a big part of my issue as well. I'm an angry guy, and a lot of the times we as males, we use anger to mask the whole aspect of somebody hurting our feelings. At the core, I'm not angry, but
Mhm.
I'm using anger to cover up the fact that somebody just hurt my feelings.
Oh wow.
So when you get into that writing aspect of it, it gives you the freedom to do that, and it gives you the courage to say, you know what, this is what's wrong with me. Let's talk about it, because I know I'm not the only one that have these issues.
Mm-hmm.
To some degree, to some extent, we all have these issues and they need to be dealt with. And writing, journaling, or catharsis gives you the freedom to do that. So,
Okay. All right. Well, I have Hilton. I got 2 of these books I want to give away.
okay.
Cheryl's gonna let me know in a little bit who the winners are. Hilton, if you have another one at your home, I want an autographed copy.
Okay. That's fine.
So you all make sure you all support Hilton. This book is only like $15 on Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and where else did you say, Hilton?
It's some on eBay, some on
eBay.
Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you Google if you Google Trifling to Transform, uh, they'll have other digital distribution networks that are out there as well. And if you have a phone, if you have Amazon Kindle or Barnes and Noble's Nook app, you can download it from those 2 apps as well.
Yeah, and I think it was only like about $7 for that. It's really not very expensive
Mhm.
for the kind of knowledge and encouragement that's in this impacted in this book. It's well worth it. You all go out and support uh, Hilton. Hilton, I'm going to give you a chance to give some final shout outs. People that have encouraged you along your journey, been there for you on your journey. Doesn't matter how long the list. Take your time.
Yeah, my grandmother, she took me in after my mom passed away. So she was really instrumental in where I'm at right now, taught me morals, taught me values. And she believed in me when a lot of people didn't. Because also the book also talks about how the gift, saved my life as well. I graduated high school when I was 20, and I failed 3 times, the first, the fifth, and the 7th grades respectively. I was a poor student, graduated high school at 20 years old, and I had to go to summer school in order to get promoted.
Mm-hmm.
Had a 1.9 GPA at the end of my college career in football. Went back to school, got the bachelor's with a 3.7 GPA, graduated with my master's with a 3.5. Currently having a 4.0 in my doctoral program. All because the gift was able to allow me to exploit things about myself that I never knew. I never knew I was as smart as I am. I accepted the fact that I was a poor student. I was accepted what people said about me when they called me a dummy and called me slow and called me retarded because I failed all the time and didn't make good grades. So my gift helped me discover my learning style. So my grandmother was instrumental in all that because when nobody else
Take
believed
the
in me,
time and believe. Yeah.
she
Mhm.
always encouraged me. My sister, she was there as well. And me and my sister we're the best of friends now, and she's in New
My
Orleans as
wires
well.
crossed there. Could you
I don't know what just happened. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Hilton. Go
Fine.
ahead.
Okay. Also, my children, they're my biggest inspirations at this point. Everything I do now, I do for them to be some type of example. My daughter lives in New Orleans, and my son lives here in Dallas. And
Okay.
so I visit my daughter 5 to 6 times out of the year. She spends the summer with me. So that's pretty much it. My family, my whole family has been behind me since day one. That's the shout out right there. That's what got me started. I mean, my inspirations for poetry is crazy. I listen to a lot of preachers, and
Mhm.
so that's what got me started. Lauryn Hill is probably my inspiration as far as music, being musically inclined, but she's a good lyricist.
Mhm.
Bishop Jakes, Minister Louis Farrakhan, Bishop Noel Jones,
Mhm.
and powerful, impactful orators like that inspired me to start writing. So shout out to them. That's pretty much it.
Wow. You just had some heavy hitters in there.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, Hilton, again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you so much for spending your time and being so transparent and encouraging us. We needed to hear that. I needed to hear it. Thank you so much. Blessings
Yeah,
to you on your future endeavors.
yeah.
And I'm going to I'm not playing. I'm calling you in about 6 months. I'm having you come right back up in Friday Night Live. What do you think about that, Cheryl? You think that's a good idea? My daughter said yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be. That's right. Amen. Amen.
All right. So blessings to you again on your future endeavors, and we'll be talking soon.
All right. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right. Take care.
All right now.
Okay. Bye-bye. Oh my goodness. Were you all encouraged and blessed by that like I was? Oh my goodness. Okay, so Cheryl has Did you pick 2 people? Let's see. We have 2 winners. I got 2 books. 2 winners. Our winners tonight are going to be Portland. What's Portland's like? Portland Ward and Charlene Blair. I got 2 books. One for Portland and one for Charlene. All right. Congratulations to our winners. Wow. I completely messed up the trivia question. Oh my God. What was I doing? Let me tell you all, I do have a day job, and my day job is very, very, very demanding, only because of COVID. So some of you all may not know that I do teach. I teach at a professional dental school. And so my class is usually 50 students, but because of the COVID regulations, we can only have 25 students per class. So my labs and some of my lectures are like 3 hours long. So if you do the math, if I can only have 25 students in a lab, I have to do 2 labs back to back. So that's 4 hours with one group. Then I get like a little break, and then there's 4 hours with another group. So yes, Cheryl's like, it's okay, but I am, I'm doing my best, but I really enjoyed the show. I hope that you all did too. We had some really, really, really awesome guests on tonight, didn't we? Cheryl, what do you think?
We did.
Yeah, put yourself on there.
I can't. My computer's about to die.
Oh, her computer's about to die. She can't. Congratulations to Charlene, the stamp collector, and Portland. Yes. All right. And make sure you check out our website. Don't forget, go and check out our website. Leave some comments on there so we can start putting some comments on there about how you're enjoying the show. And then we want to send a big thank you, love hug. All right. Shout out to our credits, and Cheryl, it's all you now.
All right, let's see if I can do this before my laptop dies. We got 4%, guys.
Oh, get on. Are you on your mic? Let me turn your mic on.
Got 4%, guys.
Okay.
All right. Hey, Karan.
Yeah.
Karan Evans.
Karan,
I'm making sure I get that name right, girl.
Evans.
Hey, Illumination King of Teachings. How are you guys doing today? Hey, Cradles. Hey, Auntie T and Uncle AC. Hey, Brother Esau, glad you came back. Hey, Lady Jackson, glad you made it back too. Hey, Auntie Ada. Hey, Gigi, glad you made it. Congratulations, Charbleen.
And Portland.
And Portland, yes.
All right. So let's say thank you to national recorded artist Deon Yates. And this is what he's doing tomorrow with his CD release. We wish him blessings and favor on that. Yes. And then thank you again also to Hilton Young Sr. GF stands for God-fearing soldier. Yes. Yes, sir. You know what? I forgot to do, Cheryl, and I know that the hour is late, but I have to give them their encouragement. Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead.
And
encourage the folks.
Okay. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. All right. So this is our encouragement for today that says, there is nothing to fear, for you are always and forever in the presence of God. If someone were to ask me what I considered God's grace to be, my answer would come without hesitation. God's grace is the assurance that I am always in the presence of God and one with the eternal love of God. Grace is the beauty and blessing of each new day, a day to live in oneness with my Creator. Every opportunity before me is a direct result of grace. The love and appreciation I feel for God fills me and flows from me to others through the things I say and the things that I do. I know that God gently guides me in the way that I should go, and I make the choice to listen to and follow such divine wisdom. Grace is the assurance of God's presence with me and God's love for me. Yes. Cheryl, I put a video on your Facebook Messenger. I want to end it with that. You'll see it. It's BB Winans. Can you pull that up? She can't pull it up. Okay, well, all right. Well, you all have a great evening, and I will see you all. Sorry for the late hour, but I really want to make sure my guests got their time in. So you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you next next week. I think Cheryl's going to try to pull it up. Let's see if she can pull it up. This is just a video. It's a really nice video with everything that's going on in the world. We just need to be thankful and give thanks. And we're gonna end it with that. What do y'all think about that? Did you all enjoy the show? Let me see. Look at my comments. Blessings. Yes, blessings to you, sister. I have all my sisters on here. Yes, and Esau. Yes, that's it. Okay, she has a video. Okay, blessings, guys. Okay, so we're going to end it with this video. And I apologize. I meant to tell her earlier. I've been a little bit under the weather, so I'm a little cuckoo, but it's okay. All right, here it comes. Yep, there it is. But I can't hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can't hear it. Oh, well. Well, we tried. You want to try one more time before we go? No? Okay, so Cheryl says let's go. All right, you guys have a great evening, and we'll try to have it up next week. All right, love you guys. All right, bye-bye.